What did your friend do that accidentally turned you on? Was complaining about my posture to my friend. She was like, oh, I learned this trick to help my posture, let me show you. And she grabbed me by the shoulders and lightly pushed me against the wall. Then she stepped back and said, now walk forward while keeping your shoulders back or something, I don't remember. It only lasted a few seconds but I swear I didn't breathe the whole time. Comparing heights. My friend and I often argued over who was taller. Our licenses listed the same height but we insisted that we were actually slightly taller than the other. Often we would stand back to back and try to force our friends to declare the tallest but consensus was never achieved. Once during a party at his place we ended up alone in the basement for a few minutes, jokingly arguing again about who was taller. We got in each other's faces playfully to compare heights since no one was there to judge and just the playfulness and proximity gave me an electric zing that I wasn't expecting. We remained friends, attended college in different states and it didn't come up until after I graduated and we got a chance to reconnect. After a casual brunch turned into 24-hour-long date he mentioned feeling that first zing all those years ago too. He proposed in October, carrot. Also we're still the same height, he's slightly taller but I'll never admit it to him. I guess we will just have to keep comparing our heights forever, carrot. He tucked my hair behind my ears while I was working on a project and couldn't do it myself due to the materials. It was such a simple gesture, but it was so gentle, and we made direct eye contact when I saw his arm reach out. It was just so intimate. Unfortunately, we don't talk anymore, but I still think about that every now and then. It still makes me blush. I hope he's having a good day wherever he is. She wanted to tell me something in private so she leaned over and whispered in my ear. Flag went to full attention because people whispering in / touching my ears is a massive turn on. We hugged after not seeing each other in like 6 months. It was a different kind of hug. He never hugged me like that before this day and it made me feel all the feels. We're married now with baby number 2 on the way. Face with tears of joy. We were at work and he texted me from the other room, come, so when I came into the room I said, what am I, a dog? He said, good girl, and I had no idea I was into that. He totally picked up on how much it affected me. I plan to officially ask him out next week. Edit, he said yes, smiley face. To answer some questions. I didn't ask him immediately because I had a gift for him in the mail and I wanted to ask at the same time I gave the gift. I did indeed show him this comment thread afterwards and he thought it was hilarious. Walkies, about killed us both. I do have a collar and a leash now. We don't have to worry about HR right now because we are contractors and our job is about to end so no one gives a shit. Also our shifts literally only consist of us two and no one else in a building so no worries. And to that one person who said girls shouldn't ask out guys, he loved the fact I asked him, but if he didn't, and had gotten upset about gender roles and all that nonsense you said, he wouldn't be the right dude for me anyways. This was one of the things that happened with me and my current S/O of 14 years. No space in my friend's ride to go to a local show, and of all the dudes in the back seat of the car she chose to sit on my lap. My friends then thought it would be hilarious to jostle her around on my lap in the back seat a bit pretending my friend was driving like a lunatic. While hilarious to them, I was so zoned out and blushing that she chose my lap that the entire ride was just a blur. We came to the realization we had mutual crushes on each other after the show, and we've been together in the 14 years since. Bunch of solid wingmen, those dudes. We were being really sarcastic to each other and having a fake argument at work during a lunch break, then she leans in, and in my face, with direct eye contact, in a low sultry voice said, yeah, my name, fuck you, then let out a wry sideways smile. That did something for me. New kink unlocked. I don't know how to replicate it but I still think about it to this day. About 25 years ago now, in high school. After seeing my drawing she said I should draw her nude sometime. In hindsight it probably wasn't an accident, but she had a boyfriend and I didn't want to be that guy. We were at a big event walking around. Every time she wanted to point something out to me she would lightly graze the back of my arm with her nails. It was so gentle, made me look at her and want to kiss her every time. I had basically been in love with her since I met her. I had no idea she was interested in me until she cuddled into me after the event. We're dating now. I was in the army at the time, and I was teaching my friends back home combatives. I was showing a female friend how to get out of a headlock, and she jokingly lightly bite me. I let go of the lock for an entirely different reason. After dinner we walked to the subway, we were laughing while going down the stairs, she said something to annoy me and jumped the last 2 steps, she turned around to laugh and I melted, it was like a movie, almost slow motion. One of a bunch of fairly new friends, we all went to a local campground in the spring. She was a petite redhead, and was wearing a dark green big poofy sweater, and that is a killer combination to start anyway. Complained it was too hot when the sun came out, and did that take it off arc your back with arms crossed in front move that showed her white t-shirt and a little of what was underneath, then tossed her hair to put it back in place. I had to go splash cold water on my face. Jesus, I can still picture it decades later. We did hook up a few weeks later, but we weren't really compatible. Still have this fond memory though. At a party someone was going around taking pics, they came up to her and I chatting. She turned around, bent over to press against my junk and posed like I was doing her from behind, then went back to chatting without skipping a beat. I don't think I heard anything she said after that for the next 5 minutes. Was clocking out at work, and my friend grabbed my ponytail and tugged. Yeah, I may have made an inappropriate noise, 'cause it's kinda my thing. I was waiting for him to finish what he was working on to go to our planned lunch break together. Looked across the room to see what his status was right as he stood up and stretched, and his sweatshirt lifted up and I could see every cut and curve of his lower abdomen. Holy shit. I was like a deer in headlights, the lady boner was instant. He wasn't cut or in some sort of particularly good shape, but something about just seeing him like that struck a nerve. And he saw me looking, and saw my eyes wide, and there's no way he couldn't read it all over my face. Never mentioned it, but hard to get that image out of my head. He gawked at my boobs now and again, though, so I figure we're even. Me and my roommate at the time get along well with this one girl. One day she came to our apartment for some video gaming. It was getting late, my roommate had already gone to sleep, I was playing Dear Esther and she was watching next to me. All of a sudden, she laid her head on my shoulder. I developed a major crush just from that. 8 years later, when I told her about that, she just said sheepishly that she was tired, and there wasn't any intention. Sucked to be her, she's my wife now. A friend of mine while in university asked me to take pictures of her smiling because she said she couldn't do it by herself without feeling weird. I said sure, but asked why me. She said she knew I could make her smile and laugh easier than anyone else she knew. Took about 20 pictures of her after cracking a few jokes to get her to laugh, and it was her laugh specifically that got my motor running. Had to cross my legs and just chat with her for a while before my erection went down. Still have the pictures on my old phone I think. She sent me a Snapchat sitting in her car on a cold day, she blew gently out of her mouth to show her breath turning into fog and then kind of lightly smirked after. I watched it on loop probably 100 times before it disappeared forever. Something about it was so cheeky or something, I don't know how to explain it, but it's burned into my brain. A few friends bailed on a Disneyland trip so it was just this girl and myself and for some reason we still went, drove together. We weren't close and one of my boys was into her at the time. Anyway we were in line for Matterhorn and if you know, that seating is front to back, not side by side. We couldn't each get our own car so we had to sit together, her in front of me and between my legs. And if you know, Matterhorn is the bumpiest ride in Disneyland. Even my jeans couldn't hide it when she was bouncing up and down, in and out of my lap. The look she gave me over her shoulder with a smirk, I'll never forget it. Holy shit, this brought back a memory, Spent a full semester as a freshman in a pretty tight friend group, few girls, few guys. Never had any tension or eye for any of them. At the end of semester, one of the girls invited a few of us to her room for a study session since she was lucky enough to not have a roommate. I arrived first, just when she was getting back from a team practice from some sport, I can't remember which. Before anyone else got there, without warning, she tears off her uniform down to sports bra and shorts so she can put on a clean tee and pants. Then she got straight into a book. I went a year without eyes for her, but that was close to the hottest anyone has ever looked to me. We were on FaceTime when he was getting ready to fish and he used his mouth to do something with threading the line. I don't like fishing but I liked that. Our class wrote an exam, one of my female friends finished earlier than me and had to give her already finished exam to the teacher. I sat in front of her and when she walked by me, I smelled a lovely perfume and she whispered to me in a calm and kind voice, "Happy birthday." Boy, I couldn't concentrate on the exam anymore. My friend offered to give me some pointers at the driving range so I would feel more comfortable at a work function. I had never swung a golf club in my life. After about 30 minutes trying to verbally describe what I was doing wrong and how to fix it, he finally put his hands on my hips and moved them correctly. I could tell he was very intentionally trying not to make it sexual, but splush any